What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Six, presented by Castro Edge. DJ, Bucky, Rhett back with you. And guys, we have a fun show today. We're going to do some takeaways. No NFL action, so we're going to do some takeaways, what we saw from the Reese's Senior Bowl, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to talk with Najee Harris, one of the best running backs in this year's draft. We're going to peek ahead to the Super Bowl and what we're looking forward to there. But guys, I don't know about you. I thought there was another story this weekend that maybe was a little bit bigger.
Yeah, I think it was a big weekend. The one thing that we are learning about the National Football League, there's never a dull moment. This weekend, the shocking news, Matthew Stafford traded from the Detroit Lions to the LA Rams. It has certainly been a topic of conversation the last 2 days.
Yeah, you better believe it. I mean, what a way to kick off Super Bowl week, right? I mean, I got my Super Bowl 50 attire here as we get set for Super Bowl 55. And who knows, maybe we get another quarterback trade before the week is over.
Yeah, it was wild, man. I had just finished the Senior Bowl game. Me and Andrew Siciliano went and we ate outside at a restaurant. Phenomenal shrimp po' boy, by the way, down there in the Gulf Coast. Had a great dinner, and then go back to the room, starting to pack up, and then my phone just starts blowing up about this trade that happened with Matthew Stafford being traded from Detroit to the Rams, and coming back the other way, you get 2 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and Jared Goff. So quite a haul there going back to Detroit. So, Buck, I guess I'll get to you first. Just what was your immediate reaction? And then after you've had time for this to settle in, did anything change in your thought process?
Well, I think we have to look at it like 2 ways. So let's start with the Rams acquiring Matthew Stafford. The first thing that came to mind to me was Sean McVay just wanting a more talented quarterback that could take his offense potentially to the next level. You and I have talked about it. I don't think it was a coincidence that the last game of the season, they played the Green Bay Packers that ends their playoff run. He looks across the field, sees Matt LaFleur having all kinds of fun, chest bumping and high-fiving because Aaron Rodgers is absolutely torching the number 1 defense in football. And I think he had a little envy. I think he's envious. I think he's like, I got plays. I want to have my plays look like that. I want my X and O's to pop. And so I think that started a conversation where how could they get an upgraded quarterback over Jared Goff? And lo and behold, we get Matthew Stafford coming over from the Detroit Lions to give them a more talented gunslinger to put in this offense and for him to be very, very creative with how he takes the design of this offense going forward.
Yeah, it felt like we started, or at least like it really started to pop on my radar when Goff injured his thumb in that Seattle game. Right, the last one of the last Seattle game of the regular season before they met the playoffs, and then Wolford steps in last game of the regular season, and then also gets the start in the playoff game when Goff said he was ready. Like that, that's where it like kind of started to hit me. Like this is kind of serious. This relationship breaking down a little bit. And so now he's off to Detroit, and the thing I'll say about the question that I have about Detroit is, does this take them out of the QB market at number 7 overall if one of those top 4 guys is still there? Like that is something that I'll be really interested to see here and talk about in the next couple of months. But on Matthew Stafford, just to go back in time here a little bit, Matthew Stafford is still the talk of the Manning Passing Academy down in Thibodaux, Louisiana every summer. Because he is the one guy that out of all of the stars, out of all the Heisman Trophy winners, all of the top draft picks that have come down to Thibodaux to coach up these high school kids as college players, Matthew Stafford is consistently the one that Peyton Manning has said and Eli Manning has said had something different than everybody else. And they don't just throw out, credit like that. They don't just throw out praise like that. It was earned, and I think we kind of knew that Matthew had a special arm and special talent coming out, and I think we've seen that. My dad got to spend 7 years with him in Detroit. Absolutely phenomenal ambassador for a franchise, and so I think the Rams are really getting the total package here, and as tough as they come as well.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on Stafford to the Rams portion of it. We'll go around the horn again and look at it from the Lions' perspective and what this means for them. But if we stick with the Rams here, a couple things. Number one, I'm with you, Buck, when you're talking about the Aaron Rodgers thing, being able to see where this same exact offense can go And I think Sean McVay is an elite play designer and an elite play caller. And I think you don't necessarily get the maximum out of him when you don't have the entire playbook at your disposal. And I think really the lack of explosive plays, it become a very station-to-station offense. And I just don't think you can consistently win playing that style. Tom Brady's been the one guy who did it in New England for a long period of time playing like that. But now even Tom, you're seeing him go to Tampa, and it's a lot easier to score points when you're getting chunks down the field like they're doing there. So I think they want to get more dynamic, and I think Stafford's going to bring that element to them. So where maybe you match up with Rodgers, you're maybe not still at that Rodgers level, but you've closed the gap to be able to play that style of game. They were winning a lot of games with their defense. You know, they run the ball well. They're always going to be able to do that. If you look at the Shanahan tree, those guys are always going to be able to run the ball. It doesn't matter who's in there. That's going to be there. But they needed more in the passing game. So I think that's why you see this move. And I think, and I'll kick it over to you on this one, Buck, but I think this is, I want to give you some names and tell you what they all have in common here. For the Rams, John Johnson, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Cam Akers, Van Jefferson. These are all guys they got outside the first round. So they're very comfortable knowing that they can get impact players in rounds 2 and beyond, and they've been able to do that, and they've been able to do that quite well. So to them, first-round picks, which they believe and hope will be towards the bottom portion of the first round, they're not going to sweat that. They feel like you get a quality big-time quarterback like Matthew Stafford, even if it's a 4 or 5 year window, the cost was not prohibitive there when you look at how they've been able to construct their roster without first-round picks.
Look, I agree with all of those things. I think Matthew Stafford does give them something that they didn't have in terms of being able to stretch the field. I do believe there was a level of envy when Sean McVay would look at what Aaron Rodgers was able to do within the confines of this Shanahan system. You and I have talked about how Aaron Rodgers is the most talented player to play in this system, and how we've seen this system turn average players into good players like Kirk Cousins into borderline great players. And we saw it like return Aaron Rodgers from a great player to MVP status. Now, my challenge is this, though, with Sean McVay, because I think this is the most pressure that he and Matthew Stafford will ever have going into a season. There are thoughts around the league when I talk to defensive coaches that they have caught up to what Sean McVay has liked to do, from the fly sweep stuff to the 11 personnel to him changing to 12. Can he, now that he has Matthew Stafford, does he have more gas? Does he have other stuff in the bag that he can throw at people? Because the innovation stuff has declined, and we've seen people slow down that offense. So that's part of the reason why we haven't seen some of the explosive plays.
Yeah, I think defense, you talked about the Rams been able to win with defense. The Detroit Lions have virtually never been able to win with defense, save for maybe 2 years or a run game. I mean, I'm just looking up, like, before Kerryon Johnson in 2018, the Lions didn't have a 100-yard rusher in 5 years. Reggie Bush in 2013 was the last. I think Matthew Stafford had 11 total 100-yard rushing games during his 12 years with the Detroit Lions. So, I mean, they could have 11 in 1 year with the Rams, the way that they run the football. So I think that'll be a big plus.
Yeah, last thing here on the Lions. I'm anxious to see if Goff is their guy going forward. Is it going to be him, or are they going to invest in a quarterback there in the top 10? They still have all the options in front of them. So it'll be fascinating to see what they end up doing. All right, let's get to some of these takeaways here. We got to keep this thing rolling here. Let's get to the Senior Bowl. We've got 5 takeaways we're going to rip through here. I'll start us off first, and that is Felton and Carter stole the show.
3rd and 3. Now, Carter up the middle. Michael Carter with room to run and power as well to finish.
Still going.
Look at him go.
He's still going. Get that Carolina helmet in the end zone.
Put him up. Give him a touchdown. Touchdown.
Hainsey with the John Stockton-esque assist from Notre Dame, just pushing him right into the end zone.
New version there of the Bush push. It was a little more friendly to the Irish.
The Hainsey
that was
heave.
Michael Carter, Bucky's guy from Carolina. What was that? What was that, Rhett?
The Hainsey heave. The heave.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed an H word. I didn't have one at the time.
I know.
So anyway, yeah, Hainsey heave. I'll go with that. But Michael Carter from Carolina had a really good week. The running back, who's a little bit undersized, but shows you excellent kind of, to me, is that change of pace back. He's going to be a great complementary piece at the next level. Well, I think has a chance to factor in on day 2, probably toward the back end of day 2. I think he's going to be a really good player there. So Bucky knows Carter well, what he brings to the table. And then Demetric Felton from UCLA, somebody who we saw play running back this year, plays wide receiver all week long, was really uncoverable with his quickness. And Buck, when I chatted with Chip Kelly about him this past week, he said, look, we practice him at both positions every single day. We cross-trained him, and that was very evident. You could see it during the week of practice and in the game.
Oh, you absolutely can see it. I think the thing that's most impressive about Demetric Felton is how easy he's able to bounce back and forth between running back and wide receiver. Now that you give that intel on Chip Kelly, allowing him to practice at both spots every day, you can see that he has enough repetitions to be able to do that. And as the NFL is shifting and we're seeing teams really committed to getting the ball to their best player, I think Demetric Felton gives a team with a creative mind really a weapon, a toy that you can tinker with and do a lot of different things to take advantage of mismatches.
Yeah, look, I was really impressed with the strength that I saw from Michael Carter. Obviously, a smaller guy in stature, but you look at both those big runs he had in that game. I mean, he had to break a couple of tackles from some big fellas up front to find those extra yards, and then obviously he's got the burst. I think you saw that one-on-ones throughout the week as well, going up against the DBs and the linebackers. So that's a fun dude to watch. I mean, that acceleration is special. And then Felton, I mean, a little bit like, maybe not the same player as Antonio Gibson is, but that versatility, that kind of cross-training skill set that we weren't quite sure what to make of Gibson coming out of Memphis down at the Senior Bowl last year, and then turned into a terrific running back with the Washington football team this year. Probably the opposite for Felton. He'll turn into a really nice receiver at the next level.
No doubt. Keep us going here, Buck. What's takeaway 2?
The wide receivers continue to impress.
Came back and got it. Trevon Grimes. Put him up. They're going to talk it over.
Hit the ground
or not? We have a meeting. Touchdown.
Here's what we've seen the last few classes. We've seen wide receivers come in droves, guys that have been picked in all rounds, have been able to come and make an immediate impact in the National Football League. Well, when you look at the Senior Bowl, so many guys that have popped that, to me, have an opportunity to really make immediate impacts. Amari Rodgers looks like he might be the best slot receiver that we've seen in a while. His ability to get open was very, very impressive. Joshua Palmer showing outstanding route runner ability. We talked about Demetric Felton. Nico Collins had his opportunity to make plays. Des Fitzpatrick had a big game. And so I think anyone who's looking for a wide receiver, I think there is some comfort in knowing that you can find one anywhere throughout the draft, and the Senior Bowl certainly showcased that.
Yeah, I thought inside guys, outside guys. I thought the inside group was actually even more impressive than the guys on the outside. On the outside, I think Palmer probably helped himself as much as anybody from Tennessee. And then when you look at the inside, we already talked about Felton. You've got Shai Smith. Kay Johnson did a nice job from South Dakota State. A really good group in there. Amari Rodgers is strong and physical and tough. Reminds me of a guy like Randall Cobb. So really kind of whatever flavor you want. And it's been that way for the last several years. It's not going to change. It's a byproduct of high school and college, chucking it all over the place, that these receivers are coming to the league more polished than ever. So a good group of Senior Bowl receivers, absolutely.
Yep, no question. I just to finish up that thought, Amari Rodgers was part of my all separation team during one-on-ones of the practice week down at the Senior Bowl. Then I thought it was really cool to see him go up for some of those contested catches in traffic in the end zone, catching that TD pass from Kellen Mond. That was pretty cool to see his total game. I'm going to get us to the next takeaway here, and on the defensive side of the ball, I thought Justin Hilliard and Ellerson Smith really flashed.
Second down. Reverse. Here's Amari Cooper. No, Amari Rodgers. I've heard it both ways.
That's a great play by Ellerson Smith from Northern Iowa, staying home. See Amari coming from the other side, but Ellerson Smith, just stay home, break down in space against an athletic slot receiver and make a tackle. Great job being disciplined, and then again, come to balance right here.
I mean, DJ, you said it all right there. I mean, that was the evaluation, right? That's a 6'7", edge rusher type that's sitting there and making a tackle in space on, one of the more elusive guys in that game. So This is a dude who had, 14 sacks in 2019 for Northern Iowa. Didn't see him play in 2020 due to COVID. So, man, I mean, like, that's a guy I want to dig into a little bit deeper and to see what kind of, a little bit what kind of twitch he has, what kind of bend he can get off the edge. And then Justin Hilliard, I thought was the best of the bunch of the Ohio State linebackers down in Mobile this past week. He really came on defense for the Buckeyes towards the end of this season for them, had been a special team stud his entire career. I think he's got like over 700 special team snaps in his college career. I think he made a couple of plays around the ball in the game on Saturday, but watching the one-on-ones with the tight ends and with the running backs and in the blitz period, man, I think that dude's going to be an asset for a team as an extra rusher once we get to the next level. I think he's a really good football player.
I think he is a really good football player. And I think those guys really showed up, and it was impressive. It was important to see those guys play well in the game. I think that matters.
Yeah, Ellerson Smith, to me, that's one I'm excited to go back and dig in. Didn't have a chance to see every one of these guys and study them before we got to the Senior Bowl, but man, he popped. Was actually getting text messages from a general manager in the league. It was like, whoa, this Ellerson Smith is an interesting cat now. So a really good player. Can't wait to dig into his 2019 tape. Also, great opportunity for those guys who didn't get a season to showcase themselves here at the Reese's Senior Bowl. All right, takeaway number 4. I'm going to go with Kellen Mond, the Texas A&M quarterback, being an intriguing mid-round option.
Got Hill in the backfield. Fakes it, throws it. Palmer, touchdown. Josh Palmer from Tennessee. There you go. Looked at almost a little RPO, a little play action there, one or the other. There's another one had a great week of practice. Carrying that over here as they're right back in this football game trying to take the lead.
Yeah, every year we see a quarterback kind of emerge out of the mid-rounds from this game. You think back to Dak Prescott and what he did. I want to say Kirk Cousins was in this game. You can go back to Gardner Minshew, who flashed a little bit during this week. There's guys that kind of emerge in that next tier. Obviously, Dak Prescott should have been in the first tier as we have hindsight, but there's always one of those guys that pops. And to me, I thought Kellen Mond this week, he was that guy. Everything you hear about him from A&M is how cerebral he is, his work ethic, what he puts into it, and I thought that showed with what he showed us there in the game. And Buck, he brought up an interesting point to us after the game. After we talked to him, we went off the air, and we started talking about A&M a little bit. And he said, "Look, Jimbo was on me and said I've got a lot of pressure because every quarterback Jimbo Fisher has sent to the Senior Bowl has been an MVP." And he went through. It was going back to Damian Craig. It was Christian Ponder. Like every quarterback that he has sent, there's like 4 of them that have all been MVPs. I thought it was kind of funny.
Wow, that is great. But I think Jimbo Fisher has actually done a really good job with Kellen Mond, because I don't think that Kellen Mond ever would have made this much progress without a coach like Jimbo. And so for him to come down to Mobile, show up and show out the way that he did, certainly helps his draft status.
Yeah, and I thought, guys, he mentioned it in the interview with you and Andrew at the end of the game. I thought it was really nice to see, didn't start out very well, right? In the first half, didn't have a great first quarter. And then came back in that third quarter. Man, he was on fire. 2 straight possessions, 2 straight touchdowns. I think in the landscape of this evaluation atmosphere, you'd love to see that from, the first opportunity to the second opportunity, making those strides. We talk about that a lot from practice to practice. It was cool to see that within the framework of the game, too.
I also think, and we'll get it over to Bucky here for the final takeaway, but Mac Jones not playing, only having 2 quarterbacks on that roster, I think it allowed him to kind of find a rhythm to be out there and play a lot in that game. All right, what's takeaway 5 here, Buck?
Richie Grant and Keith Taylor, they're on the rise.
2nd and 5 after that gain of 5 to Rodgers. And now Mond on the move. Pressure hits Amari Rodgers. He goes down. This is not college football. And Keith Taylor is there for the tackle.
Defensive backs are always a hot commodity. And when you see them play well during this week, it certainly enhances their chances of moving up the charts. Richie Grant and Keith Taylor, to me, made the most money in the secondary because both of those guys were outstanding. Keith Taylor has the length, the athleticism, the ability to stab and play bump and run the way that you want to see. And at 6'2", 200 pounds, man, that length is what everyone wants. And then Richie Grant, his nose for the ball, his instincts really showed out throughout the week. I think both of those guys helped themselves with the way they played down in Mobile.
Yeah, Taylor was targeted often. I mean, you guys were calling his name, DJ, all day long in the game. I thought he acquitted himself really well in coverage. And then Richie Grant, man, he was a fun watch during practice. As you mentioned, he's just always around the ball. I feel like if you're a receiver and you make a catch with Richie Grant, like near you, you are not safe until that ball is in the official's hands, because that dude will come and grab at it the entire time, even when the whistle's blown.
Yeah, you got Jamie Newman a couple times on that Thursday practice, going back and watching that tape, and then to be able to show out as a high safety, to be able to drop down and play well at the corner position. I thought he had an outstanding week of practice. Didn't get much opportunity there on Saturday in the game. Keith Taylor, on the other hand, did. You mentioned it, Red. He was targeted early and often in this game, and plays down the field, locating the ball was outstanding. Didn't take the cheese on a little hitch and go at one point in time in the game, showing you that fluidity and the makeup speed. Was in great position there to locate the ball. I gave up a couple plays when he's in off coverage. I think you saw, it was a touchdown to Palmer on a one-step slant. But, I mean, you're a victim to the coverage call on that one. You're playing off, and you're at the 5-yard line. They run a one-step slant. I mean, I'm not really going to put that on him. But I thought overall a really good week for him. Those that Pete Carroll scheme that we see all across the landscape of the National Football League, they're looking for this type of player. So he did really well for himself and launched himself. I think he's going to get some love and some discussion there on day 2 with what we saw during that week of practice. But overall, another fantastic week down there in Mobile at the Reese's Senior Bowl. Hat tip to our pal Jim Nagy for pulling this thing off. Really a phenomenal week, Rhett.
DJ, we have one last bonus takeaway for you. And with that, let's go back down to Hancock Whitney Stadium in Mobile one last time.
Don't be afraid to use what you had here as Herbert gets maybe a yard over the right side. Riley Cole from South Alabama landing home there for the tackle.
Yeah, Riley Cole came screaming in from the backside there, showing a little effort, juice to close that down, make a play in his home stadium. You hear a little bit of a roaring crowd here.
Like, was that the first time, like, all football season long that we actually heard the crowd roar? Like, I know there wasn't that many people there, but man, that was good for my soul. Like, to hear the crowd go wild after a tackle. Look, I know it didn't sound like, Arrowhead's 75,000 going nuts after a long Patrick Mahomes touchdown pass. But man, that was kind of cool to see. Every time Riley Cole made a tackle, you heard it. And that was just, felt good, Just it made me feel good. A little chicken soup for the soul.
Yeah, go Jags, right?
Go Jags.
South Al Jags getting a little love down there.
There you
Riley
go.
Cole making some plays, and it was fun. It was a great event, man. It was just a phenomenal opportunity for these kids to go out there and try and show their abilities here to these 32 teams. Just a fantastic week at the Senior Bowl. Again, hat tip to our pal, Jim Nagy. All right, welcome back, and a lot more to get to here today, including one of the best running backs in this year's draft class. Some people view him as the top. He's right in that discussion. One of the more impressive guys we've seen over the last couple years. That's Najee Harris from Alabama. Big, strong, physical, athletic. The production is off the charts, and Bucky, he had a chance to visit with him.
Waddle working his way back. It seems like he might be available for the national championship game in 11 days. Hurdling is Harris, and now running down the sideline.
How is everything going? Because it's been a bit of a whirlwind. Not only the college football season, which was a challenge in itself, dealing with all the protocols, but now getting ready for the draft and all this stuff. How are you managing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different adjustment for sure. I mean, you being in Bama, of course, for 4 years, and I mean, you're in their rule system of what to do, what time to wake up, and you're just leaving out and preparing for the draft. I mean, I'm right now. I'm in Dallas right now, Exos in Dallas, training with Brent Callaway. It's actually really fun. I mean, just to I guess to meet the guys that are there, I'll be competing with eventually. But at the running back position, there's a couple guys there. So just doing the individual drills. It's like good competition. I'm not trying to say competing as in like, any other way, but it's good competition for us to get better in training. Obviously, we still go through the COVID stuff like that. We still get our temperatures taken and stuff like that. But I mean, it's easier than expected.
It's funny because you kind of made you alluded to Alabama and the rules. Yes. And maybe some of the rigidity. I have to ask this because I hear so much about Alabama and the process. What is the process? What does it mean to you?
What does the process mean to me, man? A lot of stress, a lot of mental toughness. I feel like, I mean, obviously the hard work, but I feel like being at that program is not so much as the toll on your body. It's just more like physically, like your attitude wise, mentally. What I'm trying to say. I mean, you gotta be mentally strong to be at that dang place. I'm telling you right now, dog. You gotta be mentally strong from the meetings you have, just saving yelling at you for no reason. I mean, just putting like the small things, like putting your hair up in a bun, I guess. You can't have it hanging out. I mean, just all the meetings and stuff like that, and it's just mentally. You gotta be mentally there.
So, in talking to a bunch of Alabama alums before talking to you, a lot of guys feel like that mental grind actually prepares them very, very well for the next level. Do you feel like you're very prepared to enter the National Football League?
100%. That's the beauty of it, because Bama is like the miniature NFL. It is like they prepare you. If you look at our OCs that we had in the past 4 years, it was Dabo, who came from the Patriots, and now he's at the Bills. We had Loxley, and then we had Sarkisian, who's in the Falcons. I mean, we literally have all type of NFL guys come through that program. I mean, you see who we got right now, the OC.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, we have all types of guys who've been in the league to teach us, and that's a huge piece to developing the players.
It's interesting because you were a 5-star recruit. You had every offer to go anywhere, and yet you chose to go to Alabama, which is a very competitive situation when it comes to playing time and those things. What does that say about you that you're willing to go to a program that makes you compete and earn your way?
Well, that's the beauty of it. That's what I like too. I like one thing that I love is competition. I mean, I love competition. I mean, being at Bama, and like you said I was a high recruit. I mean, like, I was a high recruit, yeah, but like when I go to Bama, I know like there's numerous high recruits, numerous number 1 overall recruits, number 1 in the position. So I mean, just go out there and practicing with them every single day. I mean, it's iron sharpens iron, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, go out there, you know that you can't take a break, because you know that, like, I mean, the guy you line up against is the number 1, whatever it's called. And somebody gonna get exposed. I mean, somebody don't deserve that ranking. I mean, like, so I mean, it ain't me. Like, I want to see who it is over there that don't deserve it. So I'm trying to, get them better in a way too. So I mean, just going out there every single day was really why. Or going out there and going all the way in the South and the West Coast, knowing that I'm gonna be lined up against those type of guys is a reason why I came here.
So it's interesting, right? My podcast partner, Daniel Jeremiah, who you'll eventually meet, he has compared you to Matt Forte, who played for a long time for the Chicago Bears and the New York Jets. What do you think about that comparison?
Matt Forte is a legend for sure, though. But I don't see me as Matt Forte. I mean, I get all type of things. I heard that before, though. I heard Derrick Henry, of course, which I don't know why, but
well, who do you see? Who do you see? Like, if you had to compare yourself to somebody.
Yeah, if I compare myself to somebody, it's me. I mean, like I understand. Like, it's people's job to do the comparison and stuff like that, but I mean, there is no comparison. I'm not to like. There's like you can say what anybody want, but like I feel like I'm my own person. I bring my own game to the thing. I mean, like we live in a society though where everybody loves to do comparisons. I mean, one person I love watching always was Adrian Peterson. I mean, like that's one guy I love. But I mean, like, do you see?
Catch better than him though. You catch better than him though. He can't catch the ball out the backfield.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, well, I didn't say that. That was you who said that.
I said it. I said it.
So make sure you put that out.
I said it.
I didn't say none of that. All right, so you might want to repeat that and say, I said he can't catch the ball back.
What would be the biggest piece of advice that you've been able to take from Nick Saban that will help you have a long and successful career in the National Football League?
One thing?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Saban gives so much good advice. And what Saban is too is like you learn advice while he not even saying it. Like you will know what he's trying to do ultimately. But I mean, really, I mean, it's hard to just name one. But the main thing I learned though, personally being at Bama, is just like just being patient. Really, I mean, like one thing they said is that you could work as hard as you can, like all that stuff. You can do all that stuff, grind it out, do all the extra stuff. But I mean, like, it's hard to name one thing he said, to be honest with you. It's hard to name one. It's hard because he said so many things that make sense, and my mind's just spinning right now. I can't name one right now.
All right, it's time for Be Prepared, presented by Castrol Edge. And Buck, we're looking at this Super Bowl matchup with the two headliners, right? We've got Tom Brady and we've got Patrick Mahomes. But I think if we really look under the surface here, we can find a rookie that can both help him and might hurt him in this game. So let's go one at a time here. Let's start with Tom Brady and a rookie he's going to be relying on to help him, and that's his young right tackle in Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, Tristan Wirfs has been terrific for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. He has been solid. He's been powerful. He's been a monster, not only in the run game, but very, very effective in the pass game. And his ability to provide protection for Tom Brady is essential. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs and Frank Clark and how the Kansas City Chiefs like to get down with their defense, they can bring pressure. They're going to try and get Tom Brady off his spot, and he has to be comfortable enough to attack down the field. Tristan Wirfs has his work cut out for him. But he's proven this year he's been up to the challenge. Let's see if he can do it in the biggest game of his life today.
Yeah, and I think not only being able to help Brady in protection, which he's been outstanding, especially with his anchor, and Frank Clark's got a lot of speed to power, so you got to be able to anchor down there. But also what he does in the run game, not just at the point of attack, but if you look back to the kind of the game-sealing run that they had at the end of that game last week against the Packers, it was Tristan Wirfs getting out on the edge, getting up to the second level. If they can get that balance going with the run game, it'll take a lot of pressure off of Tom Brady. So he's going to be key to helping Tom Brady. Now, somebody on the other side trying to slow him down, that's really one of the best rookie cornerbacks we've seen in a while. L'Jarius Sneed has been outstanding for the Chiefs.
Here comes a blitz to the left of Allen. Now being pressured, backing up, still backing up. He's going to be smoked and sacked all the way back at the 17-yard line.
He has been outstanding. The Louisiana Tech product has been as good as advertised. He has stepped into that lineup. He has given them exactly what they needed on the outside, which is blanket coverage. I love his toughness, his tenacity, his ability to get his hands on the ball. He is not back down in some of these big-time matchups, and because his fearlessness, the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to bring pressure. They bring it from all angles. They're not afraid to live in cover zero if they have to, and so he plays a big role in this game plan because when you look at the weapons that Tom Brady has at his disposal, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Scotty Miller, maybe Antonio Brown, you're going to need your cornerbacks to be able to hold up a man-to-man. He's proven it today. Can he continue to do it?
Yeah, Mike Evans is going to be the matchup there. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Those two power forwards go at it. But what a phenomenal rookie season for L'Jarius Sneed, trying to cap it off here with the Super Bowl. All right, let's get to Mahomes. And we're trying to find a rookie that can help him. He doesn't have to look far. He looked right to the left or to the right in the shotgun with Clyde Edwards-Helaire back there in the back.
Started right now, left. Edwards-Helaire diving right side, touchdown! Non-touched! He ran it in, a big hole opened up on the right side.
Yeah, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he comes back and gives them, early in the year, his ability to run the ball and catch it out the backfield kind of steadied out their offense. And even though we've seen Darrell Williams play, I think Edwards-Helaire could have a big role in this game because as much as the Kansas City Chiefs like to play fast break football, they may want to slow it down and control the clock and kind of dictate the terms to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That means Clyde Edwards-Helaire has to play a big role. He needs to be able to kind of continue to do what he's been able to do, not only as a runner, but in the screen game. He could be a guy that could really help them when they utilize the screen game to slow down this pass rush that's been able to be very, very disruptive this postseason.
Man, Clyde Edwards, they're trying to get the three-peat, right? He's got the state championship in high school, won a national championship at LSU, now trying to win a Super Bowl here with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to be easy, though. When you look across the way at the linebackers, man, that's as good as it gets, as athletic as it gets there at the second level for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm curious to see, are they going to try and keep Edwards-Helaire in to help protection with those linebackers blitzing, or are they going to try and free release him? I think that's probably what they do. Trust Mahomes to be able to see those things and use Edwards-Helaire as an outlet. Once that pressure that gets dialed up by Todd Bowles is going to come, he's going to have a nice little check down option. I could see him having 7, 8, 9 catches in this game. Would not surprise me at all, Buck.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised to see him emerge as the X factor because the Kansas City Chiefs, they're at their best when they can get 5 out in a route. We had talked about it over the summer, like the 5 that you want to see on the floor. Well, they have 5 that can really create problems. And I love what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been able to do defensively. But if they go out and they're trying to defend Kansas City like they defend the Green Bay Packers, it could be a problem. And so we'll see. This is a really, really tough matchup for Todd Bowles and company and how they elect to attack Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes has a security blanket and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and that makes Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, that makes them even that much tougher to defend because they always have answers to whatever the test is.
Well, there's the rookie to help Patrick Mahomes. How about the one that's trying to slow him down? We go over to the other side of the ball. Now, fingers crossed, we'll see as we get later in the week here, but hopefully Antoine Winfield Jr. is going to be back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Here is the snap, 3rd and 2. Pressure coming against the battle. Caught ball. First down. They throw to the tight end, Jared Cook.
Fumble.
It's fumble ball. Picked up by the Bucs, Devin White, with a stiff arm to the 40-yard line. And the Buccaneers come up with a football.
How does his presence on that defense help slow down Patrick Mahomes?
Well, they need him because he's the guy that is the bully in between the hashes in terms of his ability to come and make big shots on receivers going across the middle, but more importantly, his ability to make plays on the ball. He is a guy that just has a knack for finding the football, and even though it doesn't necessarily register in a ton of interceptions, he is always Johnny on the spot. And I think in this game, where we know that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw it 30 to 35 times or more, you want to make sure that you have the middle of the field protected. You cannot vacate the middle of the field and let him have those home run shots. We've seen teams try and do it with cover 2. You got to eliminate the big plays down the middle of the field. We'll see how it goes.
And we'll see if they use him as a blitzer as well. Really curious to see if Todd Bowles is going to be aggressive or if they're just going to try and get home with 4. But Winfield can be a part of that blitz package if they want to use him. So there you go. Those rookies going to be key for both quarterbacks in this game, help determine this outcome. And that was Be Prepared, presented by Castrol Edge. Well, Buck, another one in the books here today. We've got one game left. It's kind of sad when you think about it, right? We've got the Super Bowl, and after that, man, it's over.
Yeah, it is really sad because it's been a long journey, DJ. Look, let's be honest. We didn't know if we would see the journey kind of make it all the way to the end, but we've been able to do it. And to see these teams and Super Bowl upcoming, like this should be a fantastic week of football and discussion and all that other stuff. So I'm excited for all of it.
Well, the good news is the NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. So even though we're going to get through this weekend, we're going to celebrate a great Super Bowl. Don't be discouraged, because that's when the fun starts. We might see more quarterback movement this offseason than we've ever seen before. We're going to have an awesome draft here coming up soon. We're going to be covering pro days like we've never covered them before because there's no combine. So even though they're not going to be on the grass playing against 11 on 11, Buck, we've got a lot of football left in the year here.
A lot of football left. And, like NFL football is 365. So either we're talking about the season or we're talking about the next season and the stars in the next generation. So excited. I'm excited about it all. I can't wait to dig even deeper into the 2021 class while also reviewing about all the things that happened in 2020.
Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show today. It's been a lot of fun. We appreciate you hanging with us. We encourage you, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Move the Sticks podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. And we're going to have some good stuff coming your way here as we march towards not only this Super Bowl, but marching ahead towards the NFL draft. We've got you covered. That's going to do it for us today. We'll catch you next time right here on Move the Sticks, presented by Castrol Edge.